Is Pixar back to their former glory, or is this yet another safe attempt at storytelling?
Elemental! So this is somewhat of an immigrant story about the elements earth, fire, wind, and water. Damn, Heart always gets the shaft. I'll dive right into what I loved about this movie. Element City is stunning and the color palette is beautiful. There are also a few key scenes that worked really well between the main two characters, Ember and Wade, fire and water. There's a bridge scene that I found entirely romantic and very intimate. No, not in a creepy way, but these scenes are few and far between. Early Pixar taught me that when I go to see one of their films, I'm going to feel a variety of emotions, and this film had spurts of it, but didn't have the total package. It never rises to the level of great Pixar films like Coco, Up, Inside Out, and Toy Story 3. Pixar used to be the gold standard for animation. However, with films like Puss in Boots and the recent Across the Spider-Verse that are really pushing the envelope with animation, it's leaving Pixar on the defensive for the first time ever. Pixar has had a rough go of it recently, with many of their films being dumped onto Disney+. It's teaching the audience that these films don't have as much value. Turning Red, Luca, Soul, all of those were released on Disney Plus and did not receive a theatrical release, meaning they made $0 at the box office. Ouch. Yeah, they got a few new subscribers to Disney Plus, but can you imagine how pissed the animators were and the directors of those films? I would be. They were relegated to the streamer without much fanfare, and they were all really good movies. Elemental feels like a somewhat middle-of-the-pack Pixar film. It's definitely worth seeing and definitely worth taking your kids to, but I would temper your expectations, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
This ain't your daddy's Pixar anymore.
The particle effects on Ember and the other fire elements look incredible. I've heard the budget for the film was around $200 million and that it took 7 years to make. The pandemic didn't do this movie any favors. You can definitely see the budget in some scenes, but after having recently seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it makes this movie look like it's about a decade old and with half the budget at only $100 million. The plot starts off in a compelling place with the elements of fire immigrating to Element City and not being super welcomed. It's the story of a grassroots family working their way up and living the Element City dream. The problem though is that I didn't entirely feel the stakes of the plot surrounding the lead character, Ember. I did, however, feel the internal struggle she was dealing with. Basically, the core plot of Ember's father almost losing his shop isn't the most compelling, but the struggle Ember deals with of whether to take over her father's dream or to create her own was far more interesting. If we're focusing on critiques for a second, the humor in this movie didn't quite land in the same way that the emotional beats were hit or miss. It's like it was super close but not quite in the pocket to make me really love this film. The film is directed by Peter Sohn, who directed one of my least favorite Pixar films in The Good Dinosaur. It was about as safe and boring as you can get. Elemental was a massive leap forward for this director, but there's still room to grow. What am I saying? I can't direct a movie. This movie will likely be compared to 2015's Inside Out because of the similar animation style. Inside Out is my favorite Pixar film, and the movie Elemental is nowhere near its league. Elemental is a good movie and it's worth seeing in theaters, but it lacks the emotional depth and character variety that Inside Out has. The voice acting is solid all around, with Leah Lewis being a standout as Ember. She definitely emoted someone with a temper who has a lot more boiling beneath the surface. There was an Earth element character named Claude that I found to be absolutely hilarious and adorable. But he only had like 2 scenes. I need some more Claude. He was kind of the cute kid going through puberty, hitting on other elements and giving them his armpit hair, or in his case, flower sprouts. This movie has got some themes in it, and it's what made me more interested in the movie as a whole. Embrace the light while it burns because it won't last forever. This is a major theme in the film, and it's so true for our own lives. I'm gonna get a little sappy for a second. Love the people you've got while you've got them, and let them know. Don't wait till their light is gone. Another theme that is reinforced is that everybody is doing their best. This is where grace and compassion become very important because we have no idea what other people are going through. But often we are just too busy yelling at each other on the internet for having different opinions. Segregation and intolerance show up in this movie quite a bit, not so much as to overshadow the story, but enough to remind us that we are all just elements. We're all just people. And a final theme is that we can't live our lives for someone else or for their dreams. We have to live our lives for our own dreams and what is important to us. Don't throw it away or squander your life on what someone else wants. The film makes interesting use of the elements, with Ember providing the necessary fire for hot air balloon travel. There were brilliant, colorful scenes where the animators seemed to be showing off. Specifically one in which Ember touches different colored crystals and changes to whatever color they are. pretty stunning. The movie was slightly long for an animated flick, clocking in at an hour and 50 minutes. And with the addition of the previews and the Carl and Doug short at the beginning of the film, it really comes in at about 2 hours and 25 minutes. Eesh. Who is Elemental for? Elemental is for kids in that 4 to 12 age range and adults who grew up on Pixar, like myself. Just know it's not the same Pixar of old. They seem to have lost a step lately, and I was hoping this was going to be the film to bring them back to their glory days. Sadly, it's not. I do, however, think anyone can enjoy this film if they are willing to give it a chance. Unless they're a total D-hole. It's a solid movie, but it doesn't quite reach the heights of Pixar's greatest hits like Inside Out, Coco, Toy Story 3, and The Incredibles. I know people love that Wall-E and Ratatouille as well. My thoughts are for you to go to the theater and check it out and decide for yourself. Make sure to like this video, YouTube loves that. Subscribe, watch my latest video here, and I will catch you in the next one.